Sunday prep. We are going to go over our major ETFs and economic data going into tomorrow. We took a couple of bets going in over the weekend with the multiple rejections that we saw last week and the week prior. So, and you're gonna have to go to your. I guess I could flip. Give me 1 second. We'll flip this over and I'll show everybody the Forex Factory. All right. 140s, I think, is what I took. I'll take a look. All right. So next week. Yeah, no problem. Next week we have the Fed Chair Powell is going to be speaking a couple of times. I think on Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday we really don't have anything. The thick of everything is coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's really all you need to know, right? We've got CPI, core PPI, unemployment claims, core retail sales. So we're going to be looking at those swing trades going into those volatile days. Let's take a look at the... And that, again, I'm not overanalyzing the economic data. This just should be relatively simple. And with Trump at the wheel, who the fuck knows? All right, so starting with our major ETFs last week, right? We still ended on a green note with SPY closing, tapping the top, but getting pulled right back down into the thick of it. So major strength is needed if we are going to continue to the upside. On the 24-hour, though, we do have multiple rejections off of the top, right at that 608.50 mark. So we know where we need to be. That is a period, end of story. Need to be above 609, 608 in order to see any sort of upside. Now, last week, closing the day, we did pull back. Closed underneath some pretty significant lower time frame levels like 602, which at this point will be our upside target. So, I mean, right now, this chart is pointing down. It is pointing down. Now, we'll see how futures do. I have, we just opened on futures. And yet again, fucking right about a gap down. And looks like it's already, hopefully between now and tomorrow, the price actually goes and retest. But one thing that we can take away from looking at our futures at the moment, right? We got structure right here. We've fallen down. It looks like we gapped down. I kind of see this as a floor box. And you have that 60-50 mark. Right here, this is a gap fill. Above that and through some of this turbulence here, but mostly over the previous resistance here, we could expect to potentially see this filled up. And that obviously would set us up to actually bounce. So between now and tomorrow's open, it'd be nice to see that retested and price get pulled back down. So that's hopefully what we'll see. But with SPY... Again, multiple rejections off of the top, so we can feel good about taking something to the upside if that price point is broken or closed above on the 24-hour. And then to the downside, moving into the 4-hour, we're looking for basically a loss of $600 to get us down to 591 and maybe even further, where I have a price target on a lower time frame for SPY. Here to here at 685, 684. So that's SPY. Something nice. What's something nice? Anyway, that's that's SPY. So let's take a look at the Qs. Same story. Candle closing. A lot of pullbacks yesterday. Really, really fast. So the only thing that we can hope for if we are a bull is that you recover just as quickly going into Monday as you fell. So for the... As of right now, parameters upside 624.85, right? We need to get back outside of that previous resistance, basically 525. 525, and that gives us a shot at potentially moving back up. But we are nearing a major trigger to the downside with a floor loss of 518. I really think that we're going to start seeing some pretty significant downside. We have a target at 510. We've got a target here at 505.75. 1, 2... So these are all going to be areas that the cues have the potential to fall in. On the weekly time frame, I regretfully, we are still very much encapsulated in that weekly box. So if you're looking for a major move, this has to move and has to break. So a weekly break and structure is going to bring us tendies. Last one, IWM. This one showing on the weekly still has that empty space to the upside, but however, sellers have been pretty hard at work keeping us under or at least right around where they control the price on the weekly. Not so high on the 24-hour, multiple rejections. And so I would even be curious to see how futures on the Russell have opened up, and naturally, kind of like how we saw last time, and we're bouncing off the imbalance of this, which is just the 50% mark of this green bar, but we're sitting and pulling ourselves back up to try and retest that. So hopefully between now and tomorrow, and again, vulnerable empty space here. So this is the only hope. But I told people last week, if you want to catch a solid trade to the upside, IWM above this wall, you are going to squeeze out. That is where sellers lose and where buyers win, and we would be targeting a gap up to 234. All right, so that's our major ETFs. I'm going to go over a couple of major stocks that we've got our eyes on. NVDA. I am personally not feeling super enthusiastic about the candle close. 4 hour, you're directly up against that 130 mark. We know that above 130, we would have just a 133.50 target, and then we could see a massive rip to the upside. But we did see a pretty gnarly retest, pulling back, retesting 125. And so I anticipate that if on a lower time frame, if we lose our floor again around 127, we're going to be back at 125. And there is a pocket of empty space down here. And so if you are in NVIDIA, don't fuck around. Set your stop loss. Know what happens. You know what's going to happen to price after certain triggers break, and that'll give you a major leg down. So if you're looking up, we took our shot, right? Being up against the high at 130, that's the best that you can ask for. So being above it is exactly what we need. Tesla. Now this one, I saw a lot of people in the Discord. Great job. Towards the end of the day, this thing absolutely fucking plummeted. It's an attractive trade to the downside. With the multiple rejections that have happened up at the top, the lack of buying power, the lack of any candle closings on any floors, buyers are exhausted, and we have closed underneath 620 or 6. Jesus Christ. 362. That is live dyslexia right there. Struggle. So next week, right, we are searching for a touchdown around the 348 mark. If that is broken, if we start moving through this, especially on a 24-hour time frame, I see the box like this, and so I have a target of 346.67. If that breaks down, we've got a long ways to go, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's just raw dog this chart. There is not a lot. This was virtually the only thing that keeping you afloat. So the fact that you closed underneath it, maybe you get a retest of the top, but at the end of the day, if you start breaking through this volume, you're going to fill that gap at 320. Yeah, I would consider the tariffs short-term bearish somehow. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, like, the market is a delusional forward-thinking mechanism, so if it can find some excuse or way around that, but yeah, I think immediately tariffs are bad for price and people and everybody. negotiations are better, but 350. So 350, 340, 348, that area on Tesla, and we can continue to the downside. Last thing, this channel says there's a long ways to go, right? And that kind of prices us in around that 320 mark. So I mean, the chart looks bearish, and on the weekly time frame, it very much looks bearish. The only difference being is that you're sitting right there. So we definitely need to see continuation of the downside. So, all right. I'll quit yapping. I'll let you guys go ahead and take it away. If you have anything that you want me to take a look at, we'll go ahead and look at that now. I'm going to try to look at the weekly time frames here. So there's only 50 of us in this motherfucker. So we're kicking it. That's going to be on YouTube. Yeah, if you're watching this later on YouTube, leave a comment on how, what is it like watching the after, like not being here live and just, it's got to be a fucking head trip. Not being able to see the comments. What if I was just making it all up? Target, weekly time frame. Coming off of that major rejection on the weekly of 145, candle closing underneath that wall. It doesn't really show a lot, right? I see a floor underneath us at 130, but 24 hour, it's a really fucking curious chart. We are either A, very close to retesting 129.20, or B, very close to going and breaking it. Now, on the flip side, we've been tracking this channel here, and so if you are somebody who's watching, I want you to pay attention to a couple of price targets, right? That floor at 133, reclaim, lower time frame punchback, and punch through this box. There is a slim but possible chance to fill that empty space up. Push through cost basis. There's not a lot of resistance here. And go take your shot at moving back up where I see a target right here. Right up in the 147 area. And if you can even chop longer, you could go ahead and price in the move, maybe all the way to 152. But I'm hoping long term. I mean, with this candle right here, you know, it seems that bears are very much in control here, and that it is possible we see target. A long-term breakdown would lead us to 113, which at that point would consider buying target for sure. So, all right. So keep dropping your requests, guys, multiple times. Thank you guys for tapping your screens. Not a lot of you guys here, and there's already 6K taps. Yeah. What, dude? How pompous of me to stream during one of the most televised events in the Empire's history. Anyway, MSTR. We're gonna take a look at the weekly here. The weekly, confusing. Not much to go off of. No setup. No clear clarity there. But we do have a little bit of clarity here. So as far as price action on a lower time frame, it's one of the reasons why this thing looks the way that it does. But we can't come to a solid conclusion that the floor underneath us is 298 or 292, 290. 1 minute. How do I stop myself from over trading when I get wins? I walk away, my guy. And also because I make so much in my trades, I feel great walking away. And now I would say, Ender, at this point, when you start getting cash in your hands and you can go do things, it changes how you think about it, right? So like, we do this for freedom. So once you get the ability to have that freedom, you want to go and enjoy it. And that's where I'm at in my life, where I'm like, I don't want to be in front of my charts all day. I did it. I did the thing, you know? And so now when I make these big wins, I want to pull that money out. And I want to separate myself, but I also keep myself distracted. You know, if I'm sitting in front of my charts, I'm going to do the same shit. I get the fuck away from my computer. Win, leave. Think about a bank robber, right? The bank robber does not sit in the bank and count his money. He grabs the money and he dips. Chris, I went over that one on the video. So, all right, for the Empire, MSTR. Anyway, so MSTR, 4-hour time frame. So this one, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I can see with these rejections up above you, there's a pretty high probability that you're going to probably break down. I would place a 309 target on that. That is cost basis coming from a box over here to your left. I guess it's right around cost basis. I don't know. I'll call it what it is. But you're bouncing right there. And so at the moment with the rejections right here, 1, 2, 3, I would be on a lower time frame. And I would just quite simply want to see MSTR lose 321.50 and give you a small hourly breakdown through 314.19. So Crocs upseas. Yeah, this thing has given us a major break here to the downside. I personally see this thing coming down a little bit lower. I have a price target of 90.75. So maybe a waiting game, but here's the thing. You can always find out where's a good or where something reverses if you just look at the chart. So I can tell you right now with feeling good about this, 97.86. Is your cost basis, and 96.80 is your floor. If you can make your way up there, you're going to start moving up. So that's uppies. AMD, I'm trying as much as I can to. There's only 60 of us, so I'll get your requests. Just keep commenting it. I don't like that you closed underneath this. I think AMD is going to head down again. A breakdown underneath 106.8, and I have a target of 102. That's about it. And 4-hour time frame. If you gap down, you're cooked. But anyway, 24-hour time frame target to the downside is going to be 102.60 for me. BBWI. Yeah, listen. Fuck. Don't put live chat in the feed. Well, don't say anything. What are you guys doing? You know what? I'm a fucking... If I see any messages, dude. How are you guys paying attention? Probably sending weird pictures. Let's see here. What do we got today? Kind of weird shit. Okay. Am I really not watching the Super Bowl? Yeah, I don't watch Super Bowls. All right. I was making sure there's no screenshots. All right. Anyway, so BBWI needs to lose 35.50 underneath you, and there's nothing but fucking net under that, which I would be anticipating a leg down all the way to 32.87. Yuck. Microsoft. Listen, fuck that. Anyway, you refused your floor last week. So here's what you can do. Fuck all these lines and go right here. That is the flattest floor on earth. That's 415.50. If you want to go up, you're going to go there. You did not. You closed underneath it. You have, and this is one of the reasons I can't stand this stock. It is really, really hard to, you're going to have stair steps. Right now you have a 407 mark underneath you. If you can lose that, then you have 401. Then you could have a leg down. But yes, I think directionally there's a pretty good chance that Microsoft's going to come down. So if you're looking long term and you're looking for a target, the target's only just simply 378. So I already have Trip to the upside. I really liked it for the potential punchback, the empty space up above it. So I have a target of around 2050. Very simple. No need to overcomplicate it. Looked good on the close. I'd love to see a massive gap up or some sort of news to rip our asses straight into stock heaven. All right, PLTR. I'm not skipping anybody, guys. So it's funny. I actually ended up selling a little bit of PLTR just about an hour before the dump. And at the end of the day, this thing close out the floor right here, kind of leaked out. So while this isn't enough for me to fully go bearish, I do think there is obviously some sense of a pullback coming. There is a channel here. I believe that channel is probably more than likely going to be incorporated into this. So under 108, you do have a lot of vulnerable space. Hold on one second. Right in here. So right now you need to keep a bounce floor right on that line, right? And if you can't stay above that line, you're gonna fall, right? And you're gonna drop to that line. But if you can bounce, right, then you can get out there. Anyway, all fine. Here. Too late. If it took this long to figure that out, it's too late. I think what are we talking about this one? I can't remember when we talked about this one. You're on your way. You're on your way. And I know that's kind of redundant, but looking over here to your left, you lack a lot of structure, right? And so this is like this is hardcore charting. You have an imbalance mark of $60.50. Right? That's pretty fucking far away from where you're currently at. And because we don't have a lot, I really would love to see a 24-hour candle close above 56.86. If you can see that, I would feel comfortable tapping 60 up there. All right. Gang. All right, keep dropping your request. I'm going. You should be able, if there's not enough people in here for me to not be able to take everybody's request. You didn't see that. Don't like that. Get rid of that. Okay, so right now, I don't know why I'm doing all this. Super Bowl just started. Yep. Football. Yeah, I just don't watch football very often anymore. I don't like that at all. That makes me feel gross. So what I'm anticipating here, and this is going to be one of these step-by-step processes, you need to go and punch below $91. If you can punch below its floor of $88.50, there's a high probability that you'll end up breaking into your lows. I watch you like it's a sport. So at the moment, I mean, when we look at this, we step out into the weekly, right? I still see this this huge gap here. So don't be, I mean, lower time frame analysis, you need to have this mapped out both ways. And I'm going to set my alert on this right now. I want to set an alert at 93.68 because I want that trade. I think the Green Bay Packers and like the New York Mets or something are playing tonight. I forgot. Or something like that. Tigers. Don't know. There's a pretty sexy channel here. So if this does end up breaking down, could be around $86. I'm drinking cider. I was drinking a pale ale, but now I'm not. And I'm drinking Liquid Death. Heard Jeff Gordon is starting quarterback. That's crazy, dude. He's had a long journey. He had a long journey, dude. Yeah, I want that gap up there. Johnny Sins, I heard, is playing a deep back. That's crazy. Karina. Thank God. Somebody with... What are we going to do with all these creeps? Get Diddler out of here, dude. So, Karina, can I ask what are your thoughts on this one? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Trip is going up, Cody. We're in that long. Be here tomorrow. Karina, so this is a buyout, and if they're buying it by shares and those shares are priced in, this is not going to move. The only other thing I can tell you, right, is you can prepare for the worst, and below 87.60.20 you could try to take it short. But otherwise, things like this, sometimes they never move. They'll stay flat like this for 2 months until the deal goes through or crashes. So as you get closer to that, you know, maybe have a speculative position down, but I personally, you know, not a big fan. Listen, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen on earnings for Airbnb, but it's got to be big. I'm sorry, Karina. I wish I could tell you that it was perfect, but it's poopy. I'm sorry. I listen. I don't even. I'm kind of wigged out, to be honest with you. That Airbnb. Listen. Let's talk about this together. Actually, fuck that. I'm not counting. 4 months. Life can be so easy. 4 months you have sat in a box. Hell. Literally hell on earth. And you're going and let's see. Last earnings pop up and then no real move to the downside. And then this earnings you're popping up and you have limited price targets. But I would be looking at 154 and 119. 154 and 119. If I'm about to take your request, screen record me so that way you don't need to ask me again. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby, I'll take a look at that one. That one's bubbling. But we definitely screen recording. Oh my God. Riley, let me look at your profile real quick. Let me do a deep dive. Let me clip something out. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Lift. Texas man. Well, it had earnings, and that earnings didn't really go well. But if it can continue moving to the upside, 1550 would still be the target. On the flip side of that, if you step down to the 4 hour, you're looking at this massive area of consolidation. And if you move underneath 14, you're liable to move back down. So, yeah, I would be even on a lower time frame here as well, like the 15, right? And go ahead and box yourself up like so, and like so, and then highlight that empty space right there, Texas, and that might be your way out. Earnings is on Tuesday. Oh, I thought earnings already happened, my guy. I'm sorry. Then that's your target. Confidently. Yeah. I would like lift it. Actually, dude, I might take that with you. Remind me about that one. I don't have my pen and pencil with me. I left my notepad in the car. Oh yeah. Brother, I cannot help you. Kimba. This is my week. This is kryptonite for me. You got Supergirl as your profile picture. This is where I cannot help. And it would be irresponsible for me to pretend like I can. You are at all-time highs, and the only thing I can do is set up parameters underneath you. I'm sorry, Kimba. That probably would make sense with the Supergirl profile picture. Look at men. Fucking men, right? Whoa, hold on. I didn't mean that. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Clip that and you're banned. Clip that and fucking fight night, real life. My bad, Kimba. Anyway, this is at all-time highs. So typically in these scenarios, I'm looking for channels, something of that nature, right? Something structural. And yeah, I would say at the moment, you know, be on the lower time frame and map yourself out that way, right? You're wick to wick over here, so you know where you'll fall, right? That's important to know, and you know where you need to build. So, oh god. Lift. The lift target, I have a 1550. IBM. IBM looks like it is obviously in the process of either A, building a box, or B, if you're going to break down, again, the whole word is that you need to keep your foot on the gas pedal. So watch 251 underneath you. If that breaks, yeah, you're liable to break down and move towards the 238.80 target. 1 hour time frame should reveal a box. So you will have a little stutter step here at 47.50. One thing that I would be aware of is the fact that you fell so fast. You left a box up here. So highlight that empty space. If you're able to punch over 256.84, pretty easy target 261. So my weekend was great, man. I had a really good weekend. Peyton got mad at me because I wasn't paying attention enough when we were talking about wedding stuff. But other than that, it was good. I did fall fast for those gorgeous brown eyes. Dude, I have blue eyes. Can you see that? Yeah, I have blue eyes. I'm blue. You're colorblind, my ass. Is it cold out there? It's cold in my house. I do got the tux out the way. So you're not a gorgeous, large Mexican man? I am not, unfortunately. Hilton has earnings, or had earnings, one of the two. Immediate reversal. Oof, that looks rough. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a confident breakdown target of 268.24, and you're looking for an imbalance target of 264.50. Or wait, what the fuck did I just say? 268.30 breakdown, 264.50 target, and then potentially 260 retest. So yeah, that's the downside. If it says it already had earnings, so I am in trip. Yeah, that tuxedo was pretty cool, man. I felt pretty good. Thought about wearing it on the live. I bought it, so now I'm like, what the fuck do I do with that afterwards? I am just distracted by how excited I am to spend the rest of your life with you. That's big brain activity right there. I approve of that one. I'll put that one in the sleeve. I like that. I like that. You're a master manipulator, my guy. All right, keep dropping those requests. What else are we looking for? If you haven't dropped your request, drop it. Or if I haven't gotten to it, SoFi. Okay, so you drew down pretty fast. So under 1471. I felt that coming. Oh my god, I almost seized myself off the screen. Okay, so let's delete everything and let's raw dog this chart. And then what's underneath you? I don't see anything, but I do see this little fucker right here. So my targeted downside would be 1395 if you break down, but on the flip side, right, if you can go and get above 1550, SoFi still has a pocket up here and a box where you could end up going and retesting that 1725. So Twilio, oh, fucking hurt. All right, Twilio, 24-hour time frame. It's in a box, but I will point out how long it can stay in a box when it makes new highs. So with that being said, you're going to have to tread carefully and map yourself out very, very well. And for that, I see a box underneath you here. I see a box right here. And then if you were to zoom in even more, you'll notice that you're actually developing a lower time frame structure like so, and that'll kind of give you a heads up as far as where you're heading. Now, I do see a lower time frame downtrend here as well. So if you can break down here, you should be seeing Twilio move into this cost basis 137. It has earnings on Friday. Oh shit. I mean, it does like to rip. I could give you a 170 target up, and then I mean, I would say a 130 target down. So, Google. So it finished the punch down, successful punch down. You have one last target underneath you until things get even worse, and that's 181.63. If you break down into that, you should be heading to 174.50 directly underneath you. I'm not super pleased with that box. So right about there. There is also a trend here that if we continue breaking down, this one just doesn't look like it wants to go up quite yet, but I will warn you, watch out for a Monday morning retest of 187.50 before we break down. But 175.71 is the target to the downside. SoFi has been moving slow. Sony. You know, I'm still holding Sony. Luckily, they split though, and it actually kind of helped me out a lot because I had bought basically right in here, and it just tortured me forever. But so as of right now, and this is definitely a weekly chart. I see a target still ahead of you right here at 2375, and that's where you'll have this long time box stretching all the way from 2022. I did do the cues already. They will be on YouTube. You can watch that back after the Super Bowl. 2375 would be the target directly up above you, and cost basis 2450 to hopefully get a punch back. BA. So you're in a tight spot here. Cost basis got rejected. You've got a major box underneath you. So me personally, I can't say either or. I mean, just because you closed here, you did pop back underneath. If you're back down at 177, then my hands would be off on this one until you get basically below 172. If you guys want to stream the Super Bowl in the Discord, I don't care. All right. Did you do Uber? I did. Or was that Lyft? JetBlue. That weekly candle looks really good. The 24-hour candles and 4-hour candles look a little bit less enticing, and the price action is very, very slow. Okay, so I would map it out on the hourly because the hourly has the most structure. I'd be looking for a 678 grab and a 690 punchback to get you back up here. Now, there's a lot of empty space up there. I definitely like it for that reason. This floor has been tapped, so hopefully you can surpass that floor and move into the 750s. So, FSLR, First Solar, 24 hours, very, very compact. Very, very compact. Now let's step out to the weekly here. So on the weekly, you got like this box here, and you're avoiding a candle close in it. Okay, so First Solar 170, 151 above and 162 below. Downside target below would be 156 and 150 below you. And if you can recover, there is a little pocket of empty space right in here. That's going to be best identified on the lower time frame. So you're looking for a break over 170, 150, like I said, and 174.85. And at that point, you would have access to that empty space and a retest of 180. SMCI, did I do that one? If you get time, if I have time, a few words about in the money and out of the money for beginners. Thank you. What exactly are you, what are your, so are you asking whether we use in the money or out of the money? If you're just trying to learn about it, in the money literally just means that the price is above the current strike. So if you have a 150 strike and you've gone to 155, you're in the money. If you buy a 160 strike and it's at 155, you're out of the money. Now, as far as what we take target-based contracts. So if I was to take SMCI, right, which I don't know if I would, but let's see, 4-hour. So with SMCI, right, I would target the empty space up above me like so. And so if we were to break over $39 with the right momentum, I more than likely would try to find a contract that lined up with the target or near that target. So if I could find 42.50s and they were 5 cents or 10 cents, then I'll go with those. If these are, you know, the same price, 45 or 40, $44 contracts, I'll take those. And I typically do that when the trigger fires, because then I know for sure it should move through that empty space. The only issue would be whether we have the volume to do so, which typically, if it's on a stock like this, you do. So, yeah. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's my answer. And that's your analysis on SMCI. If you break through cost basis over here, I'd be aiming towards 44.71. Snow. All right, get your last request in there, guys. There's not a lot of you guys in here, so we don't really have to do too much. But I want to make sure everybody's requests have been taken. I see a couple setups that look pretty good, empty space wise. We're already in a couple of those. But let's talk about snow. So snow is already rejecting that top there. So it looks like you're either A, about to build more box, or B, start heading towards 175.77, where we could experience a pullback. And that's where we have a box here, and you'd be looking at a 162 target and 168 target. So I guess in this case, right, I'm expecting at minimum 175.77 to get hit, or at least right in that 178 area before you move back up. But if that is lost, then obviously downside. PayPal. Yeah, this thing looks cooked, man. Underneath 76, 71, I have a target underneath you right here of 74. This will be posted on Lineup and taking the courses. Hell yeah, dude. Good job. Be proud of yourself. I do post this on YouTube, yes. All right. Well, you're falling underneath 130, so that's not good. Um, I would watch the channel at 124.85, but other than that, you have a 123.49 target below you. If that breaks and momentum is continuing to the downside, inevitably you're going to fill up this empty space right here. Uber. So I had a target right up here. It tapped the wicks. It tapped the 76.50 floor. So now the goal is just simply, and I mean this, like you'd have to get above 76.80, but you need to go and reclaim the 77.45 floor. Otherwise, I would personally be looking at a retest of 73.65, and if that breaks down, you're looking at 71. Brody, that's what I opened up this live with. We're gonna be done here in just a few minutes, and I'm gonna post this. And the videos don't take long to upload at all. I'll have it uploaded in 15 minutes. So I have fiber now, and my videos upload crazy fast. So I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of this at all. And one of the reasons why is because you're already tapping the high, so above 53.78, but there's no inclination that you're even going to go and make it there. You're really moving fucking slow. And then to the downside, right, you've got this box right here that you've already technically punched down through, but if underneath 51.45, right, we could be aiming back down towards this box. So I mean, part of me says, yeah, go ahead and, you know, you're looking basically for a move over, and I should be more specific, 54. But, you know, where's the setup in that at the moment? You are lacking empty space. You would have another floor directly up above you, and then you would have this box here to your left. So not a huge fan of that setup, I'll be honest with you. Nike seems to be bouncing on cost basis. Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure if I should look past the lower time frames. If what time frame you are is looking at does not make sense, move down. Move down until you can find clarity. So, Nike with a big fat fucking punch down, new lows, right? Huge new lows. And now we are moving, and if I am looking at this correctly, we are 68.14. That is exactly where I expect to see possibly a bounce. If not, you're looking at a much wider price target of all the way down at, well, you have 64.75, but I could see a move all the way to 60. AZN. So that looks like it's about done with its setup. It did gap up. It did tap a floor here. It got pretty damn close. Yeah, tapped a floor here. That's actually a floor across the board. And you've pulled back since. So typically in these scenarios, I just measure what's above and what's below, right? We've got a tap right here. So I'd watch 70, 71, or 70, 80 as a retest level underneath you. I guess that would be, yeah, 71. And then you need to be on a lower time frame to try and find this. So if you can make it above 73.50, you can maybe go and punch 74.80. But I hate when you're stuck in between two boxes, which literally that is what you're looking at right now. So, all right, now I just want to briefly brush over the game plan for this week. This week is going to be almost entirely focused on swing trading into the data. So I'm looking for positions going into this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, primarily the days before, and trying to swing into these. Yeah, it's the Alex box. What's up, JW? But this week I do expect to, and before I even say anything else, I just want everybody to remember this and remember when the hardest time is to trade, and whether or not you have enough information to dispute that. And if you do, let me know. But we are trading very much inside of a weekly range, and when this range breaks, I expect greatness. I expect a large move in one direction or the other, right? And 3 rejections off the top, obviously that shows a lot of seller activity, and so one could be looking down, 24-hour time frame, multiple rejections, but inside of the range, it is still difficult to trade. So please, especially those of you who utilize lower expiration or shorter expiration contracts into empty space, this is where it's lower time frame empty space that really is the only empty space that exists. Which means you're going to have to compromise if you're somebody who swing trades, because lower time frame trading is just not where we like to hang out, for me anyway, personally. So that's about it. If you guys have any questions or anything, especially those of you guys watching later on YouTube, leave them below in the comments. Discount code is still open for anybody till Valentine's Day. And hopefully we have a really good week. I am treading. I don't know if anybody heard me last week. I am treading very lightly. This type of market conditions will take all of your hard work and gains if you're not careful. So be particular. It needs to look great, like Trip or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and head off for the night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Those of you guys who skipped the Super Bowl, you can go catch the rest of it. We will we'll be live tomorrow morning. So good luck to everybody. And let's have a good week. Yep. Peace out, everybody. Yep. I'll see you guys in the morning. See you later. This will be on YouTube in just a minute.
Woke up, no hangover, I'm thinking